Yes.
Straight in with it.
So happy.
That doesn't surprise me at all, because Scale Bear is perfect for Blood Run, especially because it's close quarters as well.
And a Sorlag, that is very interesting, and no clutch, which means Agent, who is probably the inventor of clutch in the EU, has already turned his back on it. So that, again, shows you the power of the recent changes, but also the way in which Agent has been thinking about the game.
Yeah, because you talk about meta and we say, like, you know, Nyx and Rangers used quite a lot on most maps and Visor, because funny enough, it goes Nyx, Ranger and Visor in terms of the meta right now. And what you understand is, yeah, with Agent, they're not bad picks, but I think Tox is more towards the meta on Blood Run for these picks. So I think his picks may slightly be more advantageous, but again, we'll have to see, because, you know, Tox is just one of those players.
It's just a clash of playstyle. Tox is not the biggest concern in the world with the items. He likes to get his stack up and take super strong positions and just abuse his incredible hit scan just to bully you off the map. And unless you can really work smartly around that, there is virtually no coming back. And Agent is one of the players that can do that.
Well, two things that we've been speaking about which didn't happen. One, no clutch in sight.
Yep, no clutch.
Two, no mirror matching whatsoever. But this game is about to get underway. I believe we have Ketchup and Mustard at the desk. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you very much, Sims. And as we go in, an immediate thing that we're going to see Toxic have with those two tanky champions and a Ranger. But no clutch from Agent means that Toxic at close range with a big stack, Agent doesn't have a lot of ability to contest with the health that Toxic will have. Agent maybe trying to get this fight started immediately, but not going to have too much coming out of it. Now, the thing about this ball rush, you'll see immediately a 30-second cooldown. A very useful ability just for getting where he needs to be. Normally, this is quite a big body champion. You can take that mobility where you can, but having such a short cooldown and even having access to those hourglass pickups means that you can really... It's not too much of a big problem. You do, unfortunately, waste it. Or big fight starts immediately as Agent got the Ghost Walk. He pops it straight away. It's going to be very difficult for Toxic because Agent not only secures that heavy armor, but gets the frag because of a couple of missed rails. Toxic goes in from one tanky champion to another. Sorlag comes up next. Now Sorlag into this next. One cool thing about Sorlag though, if you hit the acid ability, the damage over time, you'll see those number values through the wall, so you can sort of track down these. I mean, just like that. Right now. He is going to see this damage over time ticking from Agent. Toxic is going to see those numbers through the wall, so Toxic is going to know that he is here right now. Question is, what does he do with that information? Especially seeing his Agent is closer to heavy armor. And Toxic not interested in competing with that at all because he only just managed to pick up a rocket launcher. I don't really think he thought he had enough equipment to get the job done there. But now, with 150 health and 100 armor, he might be right, but a couple of missed rails. Uncharacteristic aim from Toxic here. He's missing a couple of these rails. No, typically Toxic is super strong with the rail by itself, but you know, a few clutch misses at the moment. It's costing him quite dearly. Nyx using the Ghost Walk to undo any of the ticking down damage. Does manage to get one rail, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. Consistently he lands a rail at the last minute, but Agent is too healthy. And there we go, caught him nice and early on. Unfortunately Toxic doesn't get the Dire Orb either, and kind of a game style that I don't think we've been expecting. But this is the first round. This is a very important environment. There's going to be many factors at work here. Indeed. Oh yeah, Toxic gets taken down straight away. That's a clean first round for Agent. Toxic looking a little bit shaky at the moment, but obviously we have plenty of rounds left to go. This is the first to 3 rounds for a map and 2 maps to win, so we have plenty left to go. And this is further on in the bracket. This is a decider match. Whoever wins this series will qualify for QuakeCons. There are many different things that can cause players to be nervous. Agent going for an immediate start. Instead of going in for the mega health, he presses the advantage towards heavy first and then gets a frag, and now gets the mega health. I mean, that was just a great decision. Read the fact that Toxic's going to immediately go towards that heavy armor, meet him there first, get the frag, and then get mega for the next life. Right now, Toxic, we can see that Agent managing to get himself those 3 weapons, the rail, the lightning gun, and the rocket, definitely being the tried and true 3. Toxic gets the damage out immediately and melted his Nyx. And now Agent forced onto Ranger for the first time. I mean, the acid tick is really good, but if the acid actually hits you, it hurts. It does so much damage, especially against those champions like Nyx that just don't have a huge amount of health to work with. Oh, he's in big trouble, like I mentioned there. He did take that rail before, but with no armor, 74 health is not going to save you from a rail at all, especially if you're Sorlag with that chunky hitbox. Another fight comes through. Both players kind of missed their Dire Orbs. Agent with the chase. He's got their LG. Ambush him with the gauntlet, but it's not enough damage. He tries to sort of turn around and get that high burst damage, but it's not going to be enough.
The Gauntlet does a ton of damage if it connects. I believe it's about 80 for something that's quite easy to connect, especially if you know they're going to be chasing you like that. But, I mean, Agent just had so much armor and health left to go that it just wasn't going to do enough.
It's a railgun in the palm of your hand. Already, actually, Agent, in a very fast turnaround, has already taken 2 rounds.
A bit more of a stable start, though, for Toxic. Was able to get the mega health. Unfortunately, did just eat a rail, though, so a lot of that is already going to be undone. Oh, Ghost Walk. Aggressive Ghost Walk. He's going for the assassination, but Toxic hits him coming out of it and is ready to defend.
Yeah, lying in wait. Doesn't teleport towards that dire orb. It's a good call. In many ways, probably would have been a death sentence, especially with that rocket.
But as soon as that dire orb is out, you know, Ranger being able to teleport to it means that it is basically a guessing game. You know, you have to really sort of call them out. Are they going to go for the teleport or not? An Agent with another strong sequence of rockets gets another frag on Toxic. Toxic goes to the Scale Bearer once again.
This is the most aggressive gameplay I think we've seen all day. Agent has been aggressive from start to finish. He lands 1 rail or 1 rocket. The second he's happy with the damage numbers that he sees, he just goes in for the kill, and every time he's been able to secure it. Gets another rail. Agent's in big trouble trying to really sort of keep that distance with the super nail gun, but it might not be enough. 10 health left, and he does manage to get away. That 1 rocket managed to take out Toxic with 10 health left.
Just because the sheer amount of health that Agent didn't have left at the end of that, the difference was 1 nail. That's all it would have taken. Acid coming out, though, doesn't connect. Has the damage over time, but only hit the damage over time of the final puddle. So minimal damage coming out from there, and a hefty cooldown before it can be back again.
Now, I know no one likes Captain Hindsight, but if 1 extra nail hit Agent in that situation, that would have been all he needed.
Still, though, Toxic is able to get himself nice and healthy in between. Oh, Agent is there. Does he have Ghost Walk?
He does.
He's used it aggressively. Toxic has to be careful when underneath he is waiting, and Agent takes a clean map 1 very quickly.
That was way more dominant than I think any of us were expecting. I think the first round, it just didn't really seem like Toxic's map, right? It just didn't seem like his game. Definitely looked in some ways like an off game. It's definitely not the kind of... The big thing was the aim. It's not the Toxic that we're all familiar with. But this is a crazy high pressure scenario. That was the first map of 1 series that can send you to QuakeCon if you manage to take it. But Agent, on the flip side, I think really, he must have just acknowledged this change in playstyle. He must have acknowledged these misses and gone, right, there's clearly going to be some nerves on the other end, and he went in. Like, he pressed that advantage, and he made the stress so much higher.
But now we find ourselves with just 1 map potentially left to go.
So fast.
I know. I mean, it was just a few minutes, right? I mean, I think ZSX really sort of just called it on the desk that, you know, we might see a turnaround here. You know, Toxic was the favorite going into this series, and still I have no doubt is capable of taking it. But
at the end of the day, his opponent is still Agent.
But that's what I mean. Like, he still has a tough opponent waiting for him. You know, Agent took out Zoop before to get here now. And obviously, Agent looking super clean. And just overall, you know, he's making the right decisions. His aim has been on point. And he's just playing really well.
A major thing with Agent, though, is that some of these players within Quake that have been playing Quake for many years, some of them sort of took a break before Quake Champions. Agent is not one of those cases. He's been playing Quake Live all the way up until Quake Champions, 125 FPS almost every single week, and we would consistently see him in those grand finals, winning some, getting second here and there, but there, still playing the game, still competing against other players of a high skill level, still playing the game. So he's been living and breathing Quake non-stop, even before Champions. And he's gone into Champions, he's one of the first players we saw reach over level 100 because he's playing the game that much. I mean, he is as prepared as he could possibly be for the regionals.
But this is the situation that Agent finds himself in now. He is 1 map away. He is literally winning a single map away from qualifying for the World Championship.
But this map was not his choice.
And that's going to be a decider here, because clearly that was a map that Agent was comfortable with, you know, Blood Run being his choice, and now obviously Toxic chose Ruins of Sarnath, and like we are expected to see Toxic with those experimental picks. We see a lot of Scale Bearer, Sorlag has been popular with him, but also Slash.
Here's the
Toxic,
risk.
yeah, Toxic, just quickly, being a Quake 4 god. Slash being that champion that just has that Quake 4 movement. Recently buffed as well in the latest patch. Let's not forget that could be really significant here too. Maybe that's going to decide the Slash pick for Toxic. I'd like to think so. But does he bet what could be his final map on picking that champion?
That's the question I was going to ask, was Slash is still considered quite an experimental pick. She's not a core champion. She's not a Nyx. She's not a Ranger. You use her for specific things on specific maps, and Ruins of Sarnath is definitely the map that we see her picked the most. But seeing as she is an experimental pick, with the pressure of what losing this map will do for you, where you have one more chance, but you've not made QuakeCon for the finals just yet, do you bet it all on Slash? Or was this only going to be a Slash pick if he had the comfort zone? I mean, I'm really wondering and see what happens. And just for those that may be wondering, I mean, we've mentioned Slash buffs a couple of times here, but the specific changes to Slash, that's something you may be wondering about. It's very small, really. It doesn't sound like much.
It's small on paper, but the impact it has.
Slash will now spawn with 25 armor, where she's still got her 100 health, but now she'll spawn in with 25 armor. That may not sound important, but it very much is, because the second she's got that armor, she can tank more damage, especially early on. If she gets caught as a start, if you get a good start versus Slash, you hit one direct rocket and she'll still die beforehand. If you hit a direct rocket now, she'll survive, and because of her speed, she can get away. And that might be all that she needs. That one extra little shred of a lifeline may be all they need, but already Toxic and Agent both going in with Nyx. We do see Slash, Toxic, and Galena as well. We talk about experimental picks. Galena, again, not a traditional champion, but on Ruins of Sarnath can deny some very important locations with those totems.
Well, Ruins of Sarnath being quite a large map in terms of just straight up 1v1. Slash being good for it, just being able to get away really fast, has all the space in the world to do that. But Galena, the area denial. Galena, her ability being that totem, you put the totem down, she stands in it, she heals, opponent stands in it, they take serious, serious damage.
Whoa.
And if you put those totems at the exit of a teleporter, you are denying crucial movement options from your opponent. And even you playing Galena is going to deny those teleporters, because even if you haven't got a totem waiting for them, they're going to see you're playing Galena and think, uh-oh, has she put one there? Is there one waiting for me?
It's too much of a risk. If you're against Galena, you almost have to assume every single time that this teleporter or this jump pad has a totem waiting for me on the other side. Because if you're someone like Anarchy, who is also very popular on Ruins of Sarnath on occasion, but Nyx, this very popular core champion, if you stand on a totem and you haven't got armor, you get insta-killed immediately. But Toxic starting things off with Slash, the Quake 4 god, going with the Quake 4 champion, immediately using his Plasma Trail, not for the damage, but for the immediate boost of speed. Oh no, doesn't quite look at that hallway for half a second longer. Probably would have got the rail there.
Hey, Plasma Trail, 30-second cooldown of itself, again, on the shorter end of the spectrum, so not too long in between, especially if you're cycling those hourglass pickups too. Agent starting with that Nyx. Oh, what a prediction rocket from Agent.
We've reached a point here where this is very much, with Slash and Sarnath, this is a Toxic map. If you fight Toxic, you have to be prepared for this exact circumstance.
Again, Toxic trying to really deny that, but Agent being careful, going up that jump pad. Oh wow, Plasma Trail. Agent using it aggressively.
Only a couple of ticks with the LG, so not huge damage so far. And again, Slash has more health and armor than Nyx.
Now, this is what we're kind of expecting to see, this hit-and-run style. Slash can't really survive in extended fights, but she's great at just getting in, doing a chunk of damage, maybe getting the frag straight away, and then getting out of there again. If she hangs around, she will die.
Well, I mean, just check out Toxic on the X-Ray. You can see how fast he's able to go wherever he wants to be. Because, I mean, even immediately, he stands still and then just gets one good circle jump, rides that momentum with the crouch slide, and that's it. That's all he needs. Immediately in with the Plasma Trail, and that was just lightning quick. Agent wasn't really able to catch him there.
But even when the Plasma Trail runs out, you do maintain your speed with the crouch slide. So you can definitely get some serious speed on the go. And you are so hard to hit. Agent has it backed into a corner. 80 health.
Oh,
and they trade!
But Toxic has lost Slash.
Now let's see how significant that's going to be. We see Toxic went for the Nyx instead. Ghost Walk is popped. Agent, can I make the read here?
It did.
Oh, we can see him.
It did allow Agent, though, to completely uncontested collect the rocket launcher that was dropped when Toxic got fragged. So even though he got away with the Ghost Walk, he gave Agent access to a rocket launcher before he needed to even go near where rocket launcher normally spawns.
But both players do have a rocket, though, so they're going to have to be careful.
Oh. Literally zips right past his face.
The question is, does Toxic value his Slash more than Agent valued his Nyx? What do you reckon was the more important trade-off there for them?
Nyx was by far Agent's most dangerous champion on Blood Run, so I would say losing Nyx is going to be very important. I'm interested to see what we see with Visor, though. The fact that we've seen Agent completely abandon Clutch in favor of Visor.
Oh, a lot of damage coming up that time. Another airborne, that's 199 damage. He's going to know Agent's going to be weak.
He was in so much trouble there. The second he re-emerged with that LG, unless he got one good direct and then just a Hail Mary, there wasn't much he could do there. Another good rail on Agent. The Toxic that we know with his rails, he's woken up. And the trade was completely in Toxic's favor.
Of course, trade isn't going to matter. Toxic had a champion left to go, so that's going to be the first round for Toxic. Toxic looking a lot more comfortable this time. Slash pick doing work in those predictions. I mean, it was smart of Agent there. You know, he popped the piercing sight as soon as he respawned with the Visor. I think he wanted to see if he was safely able to go for the rocket or not. Decided to go for it anyway. They're going to trade these power-ups together. So Mega Health goes to Toxic, and Agent gets himself the heavy armor. Plasma Trail is used again.
I really love the movement there where Toxic, he was so quick, he was able to gather all of his important pickups and then read the fact that Agent was probably going to spawn close enough to the LG where if he got in there, he was probably going to head him off. But only Slash can get there that quickly.
Toxic doesn't have a railgun yet, though. Be able to safely secure one. Oh, no. Bit of a miss coming up from Agent.
Minimal damage on that one, though. So Agent still looking pretty good, especially with the heavy armor just spawned, but Mega soon to follow.
Not quite, though.
Yeah,
I think Agent might be able to get them both. Yeah, he is. That's a good trade-off for Agent. He's able to secure both of them.
Immediately in with the Ghost Walk, doesn't want to take any of the damage on the Plasma Trail, but using the Ghost Walk to avoid Plasma Trail damage means that whenever he catches him in a close situation, he's not going to have it to survive, and that is exactly why. He used his Ghost Walk to evade the Plasma Trail, but the second Toxic inevitably found him again, and Slash will find you before it comes back. Agent can't use it to get away.
Yeah, Toxic choosing his fights perfectly so far in Agent, but on this Ranger was able to get it. Ghost Walk could have let him get away safely, and this truly is the Agent going for the Dire Orb up top, I think, just trying to get the Mega Health first. See that Toxic's going to run away, but at least he can deny that power up from him.
Chasing down a Plasma Trail, it's not just going to allow her to get that boost of speed to escape. Chasing her is almost impossible. You cannot run in the Plasma Trail. You will die. Agent following, very risky actually using that teleporter to follow up.
Now does a Toxic circuit round. This is how he killed his Nyx, but quite low on health though. Has to be super careful now. With no armor left to go, picks up some now, so now he can survive a rail. Forehand would have been in a lot of danger. Oh, but no, Agent is ready immediately to take him down and trade it out again. Toxic goes straight back to Nyx.
Really clean sequence, but Nyx is what we saw last time. It came down to a trade though, so it was still pretty close.
Yeah, Agent has a hunch that Toxic's likely to go towards this railgun.
That's definitely all he needed right there. A little bit of damage, especially catching him freshly off the spawn where he can't really get too stacked. Speaking of stack, Agent with that heavy armor. We haven't seen anything from Toxic's Galena just yet, so I'd be interested to see what he uses on the back foot, on top of using those totems to try and give himself a little bit of extra health. Will he have much opportunity to actually running straight into it? The important thing there was undoing some of the heavy armor, going in with the rocket launcher, but again, not a huge amount of damage, and because of it, Agent follows through. Gets a nice chunk of damage with the LG to tie things up 1-1.
Unfortunately, if any of those final rockets connected, that actually would have been a guaranteed frag for Toxic, but just slightly off the mark. For Galena, that was the first time we saw his Galena through the round, but unfortunately just wasn't to work. I mean, he did get that really good usage on the totem, and that must be why he took the fight. I mean, that 75 damage, that is not a tiny amount whatsoever.
Especially when you got a rocket launcher too.
Oh, of course.
A nice amount of damage back to back. But another start, Nyx versus Slash. The upstairs here, there's so much fighting, it is just pasted in blood. That is disgusting.
Also speaks volumes, I think, for where these players are both sort of focusing their attention, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because if frags are consistently happening around the same area, they're clearly favoring that area.
It's a very brutal indicator of where the action is taking place.
Heavy armor is yet to be picked up, though. Both players being a little bit careful, I think.
Look how fast he's able to go in. No Ghost Walk just yet. Agent forced to use it now. Both players very, very weak. I don't think either wants to take that fight.
Heavy armor. Now question is, where does the Mega Health go? See Toxic's nowhere near it.
There might be a fight for this one, but both, I think, anticipating Agent maybe have already expected Toxic to collect it.
Oh, we did get it now. Yeah, Agent came up behind, but Toxic realizing as soon as he had that rocket launcher, he was safe to go towards the Mega Health.
Oh! Players missing their rail. So it's still a fairly neutral situation. But because of the late collection on the Mega Health, heavy armor will spawn significantly beforehand.
Toxic's on the hunt, he's looking for it. Agent not in harm's way just yet. Mega Health coming up. Agent secures.
Here they come. Only did 1 damage on that rocket though. That's That's one rail. Only needs one more now. Toxic, very vulnerable to big damage at this stage.
Forwards through. That LG does so much damage, and Agent manages to thread the needle over the top. Actually, wall jumping off the wall just to get over. Toxic, don't think it was quite ready for him to come from above.
Trying to go in and secure the heavy armor, but doesn't manage to get it. The dangerous situation here is that Agent was able to collect it. Toxic is far behind. One rocket as well. Toxic remains to be weak. The LG's going to finish it. Misses the rail. Could have actually got a surprise attack. The Agent was not looking where Toxic went round that corner, but the rail didn't connect.
Right, Toxic definitely just going in there. Throws the totem down already. A lot of damage coming through. Toxic has to be careful. Doesn't have much health left to go at all. And he's going to lose that 1v1 narrowly. Agent is able to survive. And another round on the board. Agent 1 round away from qualifying for the Quake World Championships at QuakeCon.
It looks to be a little bit more difficult for Toxic if he loses his slash before he manages to get a frag. And this is match point. It's going to be match point right here. Agent looking so strong this entire tournament. Not just today, but throughout the World Championships. He only needs one more round and he will qualify for the World Championship Finals at QuakeCon.
So close, yet potentially so far. Toxic, we've already seen the round he took was convincing. Toxic can bring some of that momentum back and pull this map back. He's going to tie things up.
He needs to make sure he doesn't lose Slash. I think that's the important thing here. Slash, in many ways, is the reason we're even on this map to begin with.
Agent's just done a good job of slowing this one down, I think. Oh, plasma trail pops just to secure the mega health.
5 seconds on that heavy armor. We may see the next fight take place there. Agent knows it. He's running down to try and secure it. Does manage to get it too.
I think the biggest thing here, perhaps everyone was just expecting Agent to run the clutch. Maybe that's what they were getting prepared for. And Agent now potentially throwing a bit of a spanner in the works by not picking it. And Toxic gets the frag, a direct point blank.
And you know why that was so good? Because Slash has more health than Nyx. And that's all it came down to.
Agent got the mega health. Heavy armor going to be up in just a few seconds. Oh, Agent was waiting. Oh, narrowly misses the rail.
Actually surprised that rail missed. That must have been just
ever so slightly off the mark. Agent waiting for the respawn time on this armor, realizing it's so important to make sure you don't just have health left to survive with.
Well, with that 100 health, but if you've got no armor, direct rocket will do 100 damage. So unless you've got over 100 health, you've got to have as much. You just need armor at all times. Can't risk it. Toxic coming through again.
Toxic does have the health advantage in the situation, but Agent quickly stopping that with that heavy armor.
But again, it's been sort of flipped, where both pickups aren't appearing at the same time. So there's almost like a 15-second difference between Mega and the Heavy right there.
It definitely means you got almost like knocks you off a little bit, 'cause you kind of have two individual timings to go with, which I know is nothing new to these guys, but
well, the fights
depending on how
definitely,
dramatically they are different.
The fights definitely aren't as predictable in this sense, but Agent manages to beat him towards the Mega and the missed rail, so even though he went down, I think landing that rail would have been really important just to undo some of that health, so when he spawns as Nyx, he has less work to do.
Might still be able to make it work though. Nyx can be unpredictable. But at the same time, Ranger just being that jack of all trades, such a versatile champion, but when he's stacked on health and armor over the limit, that is difficult to deal with.
On top of his good speed, his less self-damage, so he can navigate without using Die Rob all the time, but Die Rob in itself, mobility, huge damage output, speaking of which, Agent has caught sight of how much damage he's done and how weak he must be, but Toxic with a really nice, actually doubling back, allowing Agent to try and chase, tagging him with that uncontested rail.
Wasn't a shot though, heavy armor goes to Agent immediately. Agent doing such a good job of just controlling these pickups, and the analyst desk was saying before, Toxic really plays on just, you know, systematically going around the map and controlling it in his way, but Agent, the way Agent plays really just doesn't let that be quite as effective.
They said it themselves, a clash of playstyles, and that's exactly what we've seen in this match so far.
Oof, again, another narrow miss.
That's because Agent dipped back ever so slightly right before, but again, manages to get the mega health. And he's been consistent, and he's just going to go towards the heavy armor again, but it's so risky for Toxic to try and push that, because Nyx, she really is one of the weaker champions in the game, even with that Ghost Walk. So if you get caught against a Ranger who has just got mega health, and then he's got heavy armor, unless your aiming is perfect and he misses, you can't really fight that at all.
A little bit of armor damage was done to Agent, but I mean, just like that, is able to bring himself back up again. Toxic needs to be careful. Hasn't got the Ghost Walk, but he gets a lot of damage out on Agent. Is he going to go for the kill?
The second Toxic manages to secure that mega health, He finally collects it, and now he has the advantage, and it's 1 minute warning. So they have even champions. It's not going to go down to the champion limit so far.
That was actually a really important heavy armor for Toxic to secure as well, though, because Agent really just had the command on both of those big power-ups. So Toxic now able to get the armor off him. That's obviously armor being such a strong thing to sponge that damage to keep you alive. Now Toxic's taking that away from him. Might have an easier time finishing him off.
But it's definitely not important just because you get it, but the other guy doesn't. And he misses it! I definitely expected Agent to not fumble his jump. That Executioner might have actually saved Agent.
Maybe. No, he's going to hit the follow-up. Toxic is able to keep himself together and keep himself alive. And now if he can survive for 20 seconds, he's going to win on the timeout. But Agent does have the right champion to track him down.
Well, it's not over yet. Agent, no doubt, he's popped that piercing sight. He knows exactly where Toxic's going to be. He has 10 seconds to make something happen. He has a rocket launcher as well. Toxic's in trouble. Can he survive for 7 more seconds?
So the Agent, 40 health, that's it. Agent has a decision to make. Does he go for this kill, or does he go top himself up? He is so low on health right now. Lightning gun damage, and Toxic is able to keep himself alive long enough for the timeout. And we are tied up 1 round away. This is a game-changing round.
If Agent wins this round, he's going to Quake on. He qualifies. If Toxic wins, he's just managed to tie things up, and we will have another map on our hands. No one wants this more than Toxic. He's got his slash. Can the Quake 4 god use this Quake 4 champion and tie things up? That's the question.
Maybe he does still have access to his plasma trail. Already has a rocket launcher.
And
Already has a rail. Already has a mega health. Toxic has finally managed to just command control over this map straight away.
He's been in this situation many, many times.
Actually making a deceivingly low amount of noise considering the speed that Toxic is managing to.
Well, that's one good thing Slash is able to do, that she doesn't actually suffer from a movement penalty when she's crouched. So she can crouch around whilst retaining no noise, but move a little bit faster than most champions.
Oh wow, nice shot. Oh, returns with his own though.
But that's not
oh, he's gone aggressively.
That's not a trade Agent can take, because Toxic, even though he has similar health, he has the armor, so he will survive a rail.
That actually could have been death. If that rail connected, that would have been a dead Nyx.
Agent didn't see him there either. Like, that would have been a complete surprise attack. But he's alive, and he's definitely going to be happy with that one. And this is where things have changed. Mega Health spawning at the same time as Heavy this time, so now it's going to be a higher chance of them just trading off, which means when the fight happens, it's really going to be who aims better.
That was a lot of damage. We saw the Agent had the heavy armor and has already got down to almost no health left whatsoever.
But you look at how fast Toxic's moving, he's going to be so much harder to pin down, and immediately doesn't even want to fight, has to use that Ghost Walk to survive. 10 seconds until heavy armor too. Agent, if he gets caught out now, he's in big trouble.
Now does he hang around or does he wait?
Oh no!
He hasn't got access to Ghost Walk. Toxic
weak.
now hasn't got armor either. And knowing if you're fighting someone with a rocket launcher and you don't have more than 100 health maximum, that is potentially one-shot death.
Very risky indeed. Plasma Trail's going to give him away. Here comes Toxic doing big damage. LG, 1 hit point left, and unfortunately, even though he managed to get 1 rocket away, it wasn't enough to get that frag. Agent's now down to his Ranger. Toxic, can he keep this slash longer than 1 frag? Right now, he's only really traded off 1 at a time, and he does it again. 1 champion down on both players.
Agent just pinned him against the wall there, was stuck in that little crevice next to the doorway, wasn't able to move, and Agent made him pay.
Oh no! Ooh. At the last minute, I think he actually almost tried to cover 2 bases at once there, where if he didn't see Toxic, he would then dire orb to the other direction where Toxic would have been, but he just didn't get it. He just decided Toxic was not where he went, and he was.
Maybe thinking that little far 2 steps ahead, I suppose. But still though, brought back to a bit of a neutral situation here. Nyx versus Ranger. He was waiting for him. Agent takes a lot of damage though. Agent very low on health now, no armor to make up for it. Heavy armor is up, but cannot get it in time, and Toxic.
This is huge. This is huge. Not only did he get the frag, but he got him before he reached Heavy. So now Toxic himself has managed to secure it. Agent down to his visor.
He knows the mega health's gone. He can get this hit. He does. 80 damage.
He has no rail. He can't fight back with the rail here. Toxic, though, he's taking a bit too much damage. Can't risk it.
I mean, time is on his side. Toxic has 2 minutes left to go before he's going to win on timeout. Question is, can he survive that long against a visor who's just the perfect champion for hunting you down?
27 seconds until he has piercing sight available, though, so quite a while. Toxic has free reign to run and secure these items. Agent has to really predict or try and listen instead.
I mean, realistically, Agent's going to get about 2 practical uses of piercing sight outside of getting those armor, or those hourglass pickups, so he's going to have to use them wisely. If he uses it to find Nyx, she's going to Ghost Walk away. If he uses it to stop the Ghost Walk, he might not find her in the first place.
He might not have a chance to use it as well if he goes down before.
Yeah, Toxic, he is playing slow. He is just using this clock to his advantage.
The advantage Agent will have, as well as his piercing sight, is just the sheer health difference. Visor has quite a lot of health.
Indeed, but just that survivability in a fight. Let's not forget, Visor is not built to survive fights. He is built to find you and kill you.
And there's the reaction, going in for the piercing sight to track him down. The fight takes place, but both players still, with, to be honest, a decent amount of health and armor. Toxic definitely weaker, but that's going to be the Nyx
But
versus Visor match.
herein lies the problem. The piercing sight found Nyx, but Nyx's enhanced mobility was able to get him away. And against the wall now, though, trying to get him with the rockets. This could be a bad situation for Toxic. The fight, they trade!
That's gonna be all Toxic needed. He's tied things up. They've now both got a map, you can hear it. There are players in this venue that definitely want Toxic to pull through, and he's finally managed to tie things up. That in itself was an amazing map, but we are no way near finished.
But that's going to be a sigh of relief, I think, for Toxic after what was such a one-sided map 1. Able to drag this one back 3 rounds to 2. I mean, that was Toxic's choice. You know, Ruins of Sarnath, the Slash pick made it work amazingly, but I think the important thing is, clearly does not need Slash to win rounds. Most of the work in that final round was done by Nyx, and just overall, you know, his aim was back up to scratch, his just positioning is where it needed to be, and his control over those pickups was so much better in those later rounds.
Slash's purpose definitely seemed to just... She was there to eliminate Nyx, because Agent's Nyx, and that's what we see, right? We would have seen Agent use Nyx consistently before Clutch was given his changes. The second Clutch was given his changes, the playstyle of which Agent likes to adapt fits Clutch better than it did Nyx, so he went Clutch. Now Clutch has been changed, he's gone back to Nyx to do the same job. So that first champion, getting rid of Agent's first champion, seems to be like a crucial decision, and Slash, that was what she did best.
Now, here's what I want to know. Do we see Agent swap out that Visor for Clutch in the last map? Because it's going to be Blood Covenant, and we've already seen that Clutch can be powerful on this map in the right hands, and Agent being one of those powerful Clutch players. I mean, I know there's a lot of Clutch players, but really one of the, I suppose, defining Clutch players in EU.
Agent used Clutch before it was cool. I mean, that's just the way it is.
But, you know, if we find ourselves on Blood Covenant, what do we see from Toxic? You know, Toxic definitely has those different champion choices. Less effective in map number 1, super effective in map number 2. What do we think Toxic's going to go with here? I would like to see him keep Slash.
It's so hard to call. But Slash, she can actually still make many of those jumps. She can make many of those jumps that the Nyx can, or the Anarchy can, or the Ranger can. She's just as fast as they are. But it's a little bit more execution heavy, you know, building up that speed, getting that sort of crisp crouch slide, turning towards, you know, one side and making that jump from bridge towards rail, for example, is one of the many jumps that she has to take. But they're definitely not the kind of jumps that anyone can take. Toxic, on the flip side, there really is no one out there that has the execution for using Slash like Toxic, and again, he has gone in with Slash. Now, will it be Nyx first to compete with Agent's inevitable Nyx? He's gone Visor as well. So does he swap Ranger for Clutch, or does he go to the traditional?
He might just go with the tried and true, but
no
yes, he
Clutch
is.
at all from Agent. This was so surprising to me. I thought out of all the players, we would have seen Agent go with Clutch the most. But I mean, the man has a plan, and that plan does not involve Clutch at all.
But also, Toxic opting to go away from those big body champions that we saw from him all the time early on. But the map that he won was with faster champions. You know, clearly that was something that was a bit more effective for him. Whether that's going to be the deciding factor here, we will find out very soon as this map gets underway. I'm going to go through the warm-up phase first, and as soon as that is done, we're going to get stuck in straight to the action to what is going to be the final map in the second series. Toxic versus Agent, one apiece. The winner of this is going to go to the Quake World Championships at QuakeCon in a few weeks' time, where they'll be able to get their shot at that $1 million prize pot in total.
I mean, we've had some serious matches, but this is just an entirely different dimension of serious matches. This is the deciding map for both players to qualify for the biggest Quake stage of all time. Toxic going Slash first again, and no doubt that is to directly try and answer the Nyx from Agent.
Agent's Nyx has been his star champion without a doubt, so if Toxic can get that out of the way immediately, it's in a much more comfortable situation.
Minimal damage coming through the teleporter, but it is going to show Agent that Toxic is indeed at the teleporter. Look how fast you can navigate these bottom grounds. Like, no one can move around these twists and turns quite like she can. But gets caught off guard. Agent gets an early rocket.
Didn't even have to use those Ghost Walk as well.
Oh, a good spawn.
Great situation, but Toxic can see him.
But unfortunately, Toxic, I mean, he knows he can't fight that. He had to go towards rail because even though he saw him and he wasn't amazingly healthy, had nothing to contest, but now he's got the rail. This might be all he needs for this one life at least. They're both down there, but no fight just yet. Actually kind of opposite directions.
You can hear them nearby, but ultimately, what do you do with that information? You have to make those choices. Heavy armor going to be up soon. Agent trying to wait for it, misses the rail, misses the second rail. Toxic is able to survive.
There's not going to be just Agent that's missing rails, they actually both miss, and another miss. Every single one of those rails could have been game-changing. Instead, it's allowed Agent to sort of retreat, collect that Mega to try and reset things somewhat. Immediately backing up. No rocket. No thank you. Was that invisibility into wall jump? No, not quite.
No, he's gone up. Tries to go to the rail. Nice. Barely any of Nyx was actually there to hit. Still able to land that shot.
You definitely see Nyx players go invisibility, and then they take really strange jumps. And right there, the invisibility was just to try and avoid that almost guaranteed rail. If you're on a jump pad and you can't change your jump arc, very little top players will actually miss you with that rail.
Agent using that Ghost Walk maybe would have been guaranteed to die if Toxic was able to hit that follow-up shot with the rail, but he's able to keep himself alive.
Now, although the situation here is quite evenly matched, Toxic did lose his first champion, so Agent has the advantage here. In 3 minutes' time, he'll win through 3-2 champions. Quite a while until that Mega spawn, so Agent forced away.
And that's one of those quick decisions. Toxic hit the rail, Agent didn't. As soon as Agent saw that he didn't connect, he just got out there straight away. Heavy armor. Now, this is going to be a really good map for Nyx to just get away from fights. I know we saw that quite a lot on Ruins, but this is particularly a good map to just get away.
I don't think either player clocked each other right there either, by the way. I think they were so close, but both players walking. They're so close, directly on top, but they cannot hear each other. Oh,
wow, direct,
100 damage. That one hurt. I wonder if Toxic can actually do anything to salvage this. He does actually get it. I was surprised to see that one.
Yeah, I mean, the Agent did have the jump on him completely, but Toxic able to turn that one around.
Just a better rocket.
But Agent going in for that visor. Piercing sight going to track him now. But still, we saw it wasn't put to amazing use on Ruins. Whether we can do it better here, we'll have to find out very soon. But evened out in round 1 now after Toxic losing Slash very early.
But it's now done a good job of tying things up, so the champion advantage no longer applies. 17 seconds, he can have that piercing sight, so if he finds Nyx and catches the fight, I mean, speaking of a fight, he can't take it now at all, forced to run away. And that piercing sight, more likely we're going to see it used defensively now, just so Agent can calculate where is my safest way to run. Unless a fight happens here, which it very well could do.
You can see the caution though. I mean, no one wants to make any mistakes. I mean, just imagine that. You make one error here, it could cost you your shot at the World Championships.
Absolutely. There we go, Toxic would have no doubt have heard the piercing sight be activated. There's no point in trying to juke, you may as well just wait to reappear. Visor's a particularly noisy champion as well when he strafe jumps, so very distinct sound. There's that
1 minute warning is gone. Lightning gun, not quite in range to get a lot of damage from it though.
Yeah, very minimal damage, even though he was on that jump pad. Normally a complete death sentence, but just didn't have the range.
Agent able to get heavy armor, so able to salvage it somewhat.
At this stage,
45 seconds, so this next frag is probably going to make this one
at this
guaranteed
stage,
round.
I don't think the champion advantage is a huge thing, because if we go into sudden death and they both got 2, it's going to be next champion wins regardless of what happens.
Exactly, that's why I'm inclined to think it's going to be next frag wins at this point onwards. I mean, if Agent gets it, he's going to be able to use his piercing sight to run away. If Toxic gets it, he has the Ghost Walk. Ghost Walk is popped, traded out, he's going to chase him down for sure.
I wonder if he's going to be able to get much. Get
Oh
the rail.
my lord.
Toxic is so weak. Can he survive long enough? It's going to be difficult. But on the flip side, Agent has used his piercing sight, but missing that jump, not being able to get the Mega. And there we go, Agent going in the opposite direction. He's not going to get railed from that distance.
And here we go. Sudden death is going to be activated any second now. Next frag will win.
Charged
Gets a
rail.
charge rail, nice.
If you charge that rail, you get an extra 10 damage, 90 instead of 80. Don't see it every day, but when it lands, I mean, that 10 damage can be make or break in many occasions.
Well, case in point, we just saw Toxic survive with like 1 HP, so 10 would have been the difference if he didn't go into that fight fully stocked up.
That was an unchecked rail. Toxic getting rid of all of the armor at this stage, and he's got Ghost Walk. They're going to trade out heavy for Mega, though, again. Not surprised to see this at all. 100 damage.
Direct.
He's seen it.
Oh, wow, gets the rail too. Toxic. Does he go in for the kill?
It's a risky business. If he eats a rocket, he will still go down. I don't think Toxic wants to take that risk at all. They're going to retreat. one end of the map to the other.
I think if Toxic went in for the kill, there would have been a bit all or nothing. It's either going to be he got the frag or he died. Not too surprised to see them not take these rash decisions.
They are definitely the kind of decisions where if they go south, they are the direct moments that you will regret later. But on the flip side, if you get it, you'll be like, man, I'm sick. That was a great decision.
That's whether or not you think you can outlast. Let's not forget that when we go towards these longer sets, we're on sort of map 3. It becomes a match of who's got the I suppose the stronger lasting power. You know, the stamina to last these longer matches. And when you start getting towards sudden death, it really starts to take its toll.
How fast did the maps and the rounds go on these previous maps? Oh, he's seen him piercing sight, caught sight. Toxic is in a bit of danger here.
You know, that piercing sight actually stopped Agent from walking into a complete ambush.
How miss? Definitely not only saved Agent from walking into a rocket, but getting a little bit of damage of his own. But it's going to be a while before he has it again. It has got one of the longer cooldowns in the whole game.
Still, though, if he's able to tank himself up in between, that's going to help him for sure.
That one missed rail might be enough, because Agent is still healthy enough to chase this down, and he does get it. Toxic goes down, and round 1 goes to Agent.
I just don't think Toxic expected Agent to chase him in that situation, but when the round goes on for so long, there's only so many reads you can make, I suppose, and we're going into our second round.
That was just round number 1.
Indeed, first to 3. Just a few left to go for Agent, but Toxic, I've already seen what he can do when he's on the back foot.
Back into Slash. Unfortunately, Agent tries to go in for his, actually either to try and sort of evade the damage, or he tried to ledge grab.
Regardless, though, was still early in the round, so Toxic was unlikely to have the weaponry to really punish him for that, I suppose, at the start.
Oh, that one did damage. He's going to meet Toxic in the middle. Heads him off, but I wonder if it's enough to continue. Toxic, it's going to be so hard for him to try and evade this. He is so weak. Misses the rail as well. He landed it.
That's unfortunate, though. Toxic losing Slash super early. We've already seen how comfortable he is on this champion and has lost it straight away. An Agent on the Nyx, which has definitely been his star sort of just performer at the moment.
And already, Toxic is so weak.
Oh, he knows he's there. Agent, he's hunting him down.
It's going to be so tricky for Toxic to actually recover from the situation. He's got 7 HP. Going towards the bigger power-ups is very risky because he can't take a single spec. But, as I've said that, he did manage to beat Agent towards the Mega, so he's going to have an element of a lifeline, but now he's been hit by a rail. Still no armor. Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for Toxic now. Has to make a full 3-champion comeback with just Ranger. Haven't had the chance to see his Ranger too much in this map so far. Agent, he's going in for the kill. We know the Dire Orb is there, but does he have it accessed?
He's being so aggressive here. And I can see why, because he's got the Ghost Walk. If he walks into a trap, he's more than equipped to deal with it.
Well, this round is actually much more shades of what we saw in map number 1, where Agent would see that Toxic was missing some of these shots and was trying his best to hit them. He just wasn't able to do so, and Agent just made him pay by just getting right in his face and just laying on that pressure as thick as physically possible.
Oh, what a prediction. He knew that Toxic was going to double back.
Oh, wow, both of them missing by a hair's length. Which makes me wonder if Toxic would have been able to survive that. Had a speck of armor, but would it have been enough? Ghost Walk is back into play. Always used aggressively? No. Definitely deciding against it at the last minute. We trade the heavy for Mega once again.
With the rail.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
100
wow.
damage Dire Orb.
Even though he doesn't get the rocket, the Dire Orb's going to do the exact job he wanted. The comeback is still possible.
That was actually really smart. Toxic, he heard those 3 hourglass pickups get picked up. He knew what direction she was going to be and was ready and waiting for that Nyx. And Toxic, can he make this comeback? Visor is on the board. Toxic can do this. He will even things out.
At the very least, he's going to know that he's there. Yeah, he's caught sight of him.
Oh, he's hit 2 of them.
Charged rail! Going in with the LG. Survives! And now he's got a chance. Can he make this 3 straight comeback? It's going to be a Ranger Mirror.
He's going to have to top himself up, though. Agent already has heavy armor. If Toxic can get himself back up to 4 now, he'll be fine. But if he fights now, he will be at a severe disadvantage.
Toxic has the weapon advantage. Only an LG in hand next to a super nail gun. Does manage to get the rocket just now.
Oh, misses a few rockets. And he's right in his face. Agent just forced himself right in his face. And unfortunately, a couple of misses from Toxic.
Now that's going to be match point for Agent.
1 round left to go, though. This is make or break. Agent, I mean, this has been a long series so far, and that round by itself, both of them have been going down to the absolute wire. But Agent, with those 2 on the board, Toxic desperately needs to take this one. He's going to be sent down to losers bracket, and Agent will advance to the World Championships over him.
Agent getting the heavy armor as well. Looks like they're having a couple of ping troubles in the chat. We'll see what's going on right here. But either way, it's still going to be match point for Agent at this stage. But it looks like right now we're having a few ping issues. We'll see what happens here.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess we'll just decide on what's going on right now. Before that, so 2 rounds on the board so far. Looks like Toxic is standing still. I guess we'll wait for a decision on this for now. But for now, let's just talk about what's been going up until this point.
So what we've seen is first of all, the first map being as dominant as it was, really sort of gave Toxic the chance to show that he has a very unique sort of direction within the game. But this map here has been such a deciding factor, and unfortunately it kind of looks like we might be having some internet troubles, and therefore we might go for either a redo situation, but obviously we'll fill you guys in as soon as we know what's going on. But I think that Toxic, at the moment, at this stage, has a lot of work to do.
For sure. I mean, he was looking really strong in map number 2. Obviously, the first one was just completely one-sided. There's no 2 ways about it. It was just complete dominance. 2, though, Toxic, I mean, maybe that could be because that was the map that he chose, was just comfort zone, perhaps. And obviously, Slash on that map is super strong. It could have just been that he was just a bit more comfortable there, but already Blood Covenant was... I mean, there were 2 close rounds. You know, even though the final result of them so far would have been 2 rounds to 0, ultimately, they were super close and could have gone either way. That could just as easily have been 2 rounds to Toxic's favor, and it'd be Agent needing to make that comeback. It's just how those rounds went, those final decisions.
And that second round, he was on the verge of a 3 straight comeback, and that would have been pretty remarkable to tie things up, but we're definitely not finished. There's definitely work to do here. But once we find out the situation of the match, we'll definitely fill you guys in, let you know what's going on. But I think either way, Agent or Toxic moving through is going to be a good result. It's very difficult to call one. But speaking of calling a match, who better than the analyst there? So while we